Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to the Bond of Love interview series on behalf of the Vaishnavi Ministry. My name is Tisha Miraj, and today we have the honor to welcome Her Grace Mahadevi Dasi. Here she is. Hare Krishna, Mahadevi. Obeisances to
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Mahadevi is a longtime disciple of Srila Prabhupada. In 1973, she met the devotees and also Vishnu John in Key West, Florida. And she was convinced, she's going to tell us more about how she hitchhiked from Key West, Florida, all the way to New Vrindavan, which she did with her lovely dog Peace. This is how her journey began with Srila Prabhupada. And all of it is every bit as thrilling as this. And so we're going to hear more about her exciting adventures during this interview. So stay tuned.
Maybe for Prabhupada, Lord Chaitanya, I felt like we got set up. So many of us
Yeah.
coming from different backgrounds, and we all came in very adventuresome ways. It wasn't, like signing up for something. We all came from very different backgrounds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you for
So I'll just
welcoming me.
continue. Let
We're
me
here
give you,
in Vrindavan.
yeah, let me give you just a little bit more. Currently, Mahadevi Das resides in Vrindavan, so she's in India, and she's the head of the department that plans community programs. She provides care for devotees, and she works with the cultural theater, all the things that Srila Prabhupada loved, and she works very hard to preserve the traditions of this movement. And she does a lot of other services too there in Vrindavan. She's also taught Gurukula for 5 years and served as a pujari in LA for Rukmini Dvarakadish. So her life has taken her on an extraordinary journey through the history of this movement. And so we're grateful to have the opportunity to hear some of her stories and experiences and reflections today. So I think it's so interesting that you took that long hitchhike from Florida to New Vrindavan. What inspired you to do that?
I think Vyasaki in his book, he tells the whole story. He interviewed me about it. 2,800 miles or something. I was with a band and we were protesting Vietnam, and, we were on a whole different, like a message, the Woodstock era. And there's Vishnu John Maharaj. It was a very famous thing. It still goes on today called Sunset. And devotees are
Oh,
expert at finding these places where there's Vishnu John Maharaj with his tambura. They're selling spiritual
no.
sky incense. They're giving blueberry halva to everybody. My dog loved the halva. And my other bandmates, they weren't so much interested, but I was mesmerized by Radha Damodar, who are
Um,
currently in Gita Nagari. So
um,
they were famous for their traveling Radha Damodar buses. Remember when the Greyhound buses?
so
So
he had the
Vishnu Damodar.
deities. You saw the deities right there in
Yes,
Key
that's
West.
the sun when it goes down. This sunset thing. It's huge sun. Everybody comes out with their guitars and bread and macrame, and there's Vishnu John Maharaj. So I was like mesmerized, and then he showed me a picture of Prabhupada, and my dog was like feeling. She had a really good sense of what's good and what's not good, like danger or
Mhm.
trusting. A hitchhiking partner for like years, and so, because she was feeling peaceful with that, it helped me to kind of trust the situation also. But
Yeah.
Prabhupada, as soon as I saw him, I just felt like, wow, this person is something very special. Yeah,
Yeah,
and of course,
so
Mr. Dunbar's went on for 2 weeks about him, and then he said, you should hitchhike all the way, it's his fault. You should hitchhike all the way to New Vrindavan, Wheeling, West Virginia, with your dog, and just try it out for 2 weeks. And
yeah.
so I said, okay. So that's how it started. And then two
Yeah.
weeks after that, I was in 2 weeks after that, we were all in a parking lot collecting money and distributing
Oh,
back to Godhead.
yeah. It's
Uh,
your insert in the book, The Bond of Love, it was so incredible. I've read it so many times. I just love your story and how it flowed. So thank you. I want to thank you for participating in the book. And I'm just curious
Aw.
about what inspired you today to do this interview with us and to participate in the Bond of Love book. What's your inspiration?
The 20 some traveling New Vrindavan Sankirtan warriors, my dear God sisters, having been able to serve with them when Srila Prabhupada was on the planet and doing something for Prabhupada that was very personal. He needed money, and somehow or another, we were in the right place at the right time, and we felt like we were being used by Prabhupada, and we had to endure a lot of things together. So it kind of
Yeah,
bonded us, if you will, because of that
yeah,
experience, and because Prabhupada was on the planet. He empowered us, and we all felt that way. That was our relationship with Prabhupada. So I
yeah.
want to offer my humble obeisances and pranams to these ladies on the New Vrindavan Traveling Sankirtan Party and also the West Coast girls. And here I have a Nishringa mala. So like
Uh,
I'm pretending I'm putting one on
all the
each of the
ladies.
ladies.
That's
Okay.
beautiful.
And then
Yeah.
I'll wear this one.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, on behalf of like myself and all of us that came to the movement after Srila Prabhupada left, we're so indebted and grateful for your service. And I'm
Mhm.
all the time inspired and just amazed at everything that you did for us to be here today with all these amazing temples and organizations and association. But I'm really curious about your if you had encounters with Srila Prabhupada, like when you met him, and if you could tell us a little bit about your actual seeing Srila Prabhupada.
So there was only three times, very brief also, because as book distributors and traveling all over the country, working like, the Las Vegas casinos, Mardi Gras, Kentucky 500, Kentucky Derby, Indianapolis 500, we we weren't following Prabhupada. We were going wherever we could get a lot of money to send to Prabhupada. That was like our
Yeah.
relationship with him. So very briefly, one time I was in O'Hare Airport. That was a very prime spot in those days because it's always people, thousands, so Prabhupada was coming through, and I was very stunned that he's only 5'2" in stature, like his height. So I'm
Yeah.
like 5'5", and all these men that were, and so we wanted to run over to Prabhupada, of course, but then the Sankirtan leader said, no, no, just keep distributing books. Prabhupada would like to see that. It was all women in that area there. And so Prabhupada stopped. We thought he was going to walk by, but then he stopped and he took his cane and he went
Yeah.
like this to all of us.
Oh,
And we hit the floor, but really fast and got back up. And just to see Prabhupada's head, it was amazing. We were just like mesmerized with thousands
wow.
of people going around us. And
Wow.
we felt
Yeah.
every time that Prabhupada would like glance our way. The same thing when he was eating some burfi in New Vrindavan, and all of the women, we were outside the window, all of his Sankirtan devotees, maybe 16 of us who had traveled in the vans and sleeping in the vans, and we puja, sat, and everything in the vans. And
Yeah.
we felt Prabhupada knew. He knew the tapa that these women were going through, because we've heard about everything with the men and different, but the women, there's a whole history of how the women were like soldiers out there. It's amazing.
Yes.
We
Yeah, it
started
is
a
amazing.
little place. It is. So in Anchorage, Alaska, we started a little preaching center there, just me and another god sister working the airport. And we had a joke, the $100 bill had Benjamin Franklin on the $100 bill. So he was
Yeah.
Dr. Ben. So every time we got a Dr. Ben, it was like, Dr. Ben, Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean,
So you,
literally, like at least $1,000 a day in
wow,
those days.
wow.
That's a lot of
S-
money when you times 25 girls for
That's a lot of
years.
money. So you went to Alaska just with there was nobody you knew there, you had no connections, you just went there. What made
Well,
you, how did that work for you? Like, where did you sleep? How did you eat?
we found a little place that we could rent. We got some help. Like, it's amazing how each of us felt like we just had to figure it out.
Uh-huh.
Nowadays it
Yeah.
seems like everything kind of gets figured out for you, or you expect someone to figure it out. But in those days, we were pioneers, so you have to figure it out. So we'd find a place where we could rent, so we could come back and forth to the airport, a place where we could keep our books. We'd have a little Sunday thing and maybe invite a few guests that we had. We have a Bhagavad. We'd have a program every day and
Okay.
like that. So we just kept Prabhupada's process going, but the main objective was to distribute books and collect Lakshmi. That was our
Yeah.
service to Prabhupada. So then
Wow.
he was in this house in New Vrindavan eating burfi. New Vrindavan burfi is famous. It was like this thick. And
Yeah.
so he saw us at the window and he took a few bites of this burfi that was on the plate and he indicated that it should go towards us. So they put it in the katori and then they passed it towards us and we were like, and Prabhupada was keeping his eye on it, which was,
Oh,
and it got to us. And so we got burfi that Prabhupada, took a bite
wow.
out of.
That's incredible. So it made
And
it to
then
you.
yeah, all of us. It was just,
Yeah.
a couple of
That's
pieces,
good.
but I mean, one crumb. But that wasn't even it. The thing of it is, Prabhupada noticed us. And
Yeah.
so, even though we had to endure a lot of, sexual, physical, emotional abuse, different kinds of things during the day, back in the day, still
Yeah.
our connection to Srila Prabhupada somehow or another helped us to rise above. The
I'm
Prabhupada was always
just,
talking about the battlefield. So we all
yeah.
felt like that. We were like scooped up for a reason.
Yeah. Your battle wasn't just with the elements and with survival of, just physical survival. There were so many other battles you were enduring. But I know
Yeah.
in your book you mentioned a very special moment when you met Srila Prabhupada and he handed you something. Well, tell us about that experience.
The cookie,
Yes, the cookie.
New Vrindavan, it was just a moment's touch. And I
Yeah.
felt like Prabhupada, at that time, it had been 5 years, and I was starting to feel like, Prabhupada, it's going on. So why is it still going on? I started to feel some doubt. And, I
Oh.
was still young. I was only like, 22 years old out of college. And,
Mhm.
I did tell Vishnu John Maharaj, 2 weeks, but I didn't sign up for what we were enduring, the fear of someone sexually abusing you. And then the very next day, you have to offer your obeisances to that person. And it was like kind of Twilight Zone stuff. So,
Yeah.
but at the same time, there was a higher thing going on as well. So I was having this connection with Prabhupada in my heart. We were standing in line, 20 of us, to get a cookie from Prabhupada. And I thought, oh no, Prabhupada, he's going to know I want to bloop or leave or doubt him. And it's not about that. I'm just really confused. And so
Yeah.
I got up there and I was like, ah, and there's Prabhupada. And then he was trying to put the cookie in my hand and someone kind of pushed it forward. I heard Prabhupada say, and I still today I hear, I am always with you. Do not be fearful.
Yeah.
I am always with you. Do not be fearful. And I remember someone had to kind of push me to the side, and I went behind the temple. For because you can't put into words the feeling that most of us still feel, that love
Yeah.
from Prabhupada. You can't
Yeah.
put into words. And that's what, through all the horrendous stories that no one seems to know about, except for us, that's why I'm offering this this show, well, presentation for all of these ladies. I feel so honored that so many of them are still pushing on Prabhupada's mission.
Yes.
And we're
Yes.
still part of that. We're still the warriors, and we're honoring our vets. Our, what do you call them? The vets who went to war before. So,
Yes. Yeah.
so we have our hats with a little tassel on the side.
Yeah. You were the graduate students. But
Flowing conchos.
reading that story for me, it also inspires me to continue just hearing your story. So thank you so much for sharing everything with us. You know, it's really special. So that interaction you had with Srila Prabhupada convinced you to keep staying
Well, what was
steady.
really, see, Prabhupada, it's not like he didn't know, just like with the children and their abuse years. And so then the women, probably that went on for about 7 years with the 60 women I counted on the East Coast, West Coast, and in the South, oh, and in Canada.
Yeah.
So we felt like Prabhupada knew, but something else was going on. So what happened is that right after Prabhupada left New Vrindavan that time, we all figured out an escape route. Mine was like 1 a.m. in the morning. I climbed down the rain trellis of the Pittsburgh Temple. I hitchhiked to the Greyhound bus station. And I thought, oh no, they're going to come after me. So I sat on the toilet, like an hour or so. And this Marine, a soldier who's, he came and said, I think you're safe to come out now, ma'am. Just to be able to escape, and got a ticket and made it
Oh,
back to
wow.
where I knew people. I couldn't go home because I came from a very abusive family. So I couldn't go back to my family home. But I knew band members and this or that, and I just needed to escape.
So you escaped
Not
for a while? You left for a while?
all of us, all of
All of
us,
us.
all of us
Oh,
have an escape story. Somebody should do a book.
oh my
You can do a
goodness.
book, Tisha. It'd be really good reading.
Yes, I know. So are you
Because
saying
it
you didn't?
shows, no, what it shows, these Vaishnavis, they never ever gave up on their deep relationship with Srila Prabhupada. That was deepening by the moment, by the day, by each book. Every time we gave a book, thousands and thousands of books, we felt like we were kind of introducing someone to Prabhupada.
Oh, yeah, for
And
sure.
Prabhupada did that. And so, that's that's what it's really all about, that we're still feel that
We're still,
connection to
yeah,
Prabhupada.
yeah.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you for recognizing and appreciating that.
all right,
These ladies,
absolutely.
these ladies, I wish I could just offer an article to them.
Yeah,
It's a big source of inspiration for me.
that's
Mhm.
amazing. Yeah, as you are for us. But the other part that was so interesting for me is that you read the Krishna book to Srila Prabhupada.
Oh, that's one of
Uh,
my favorite services. That's
yes.
tomorrow. That was one of my favorite books to distribute. We followed
Oh,
the George
wow.
Harrison concert, and actually we went backstage and gave him a cake. And the intro to the Krishna book is signed by George Harrison. All you need
Yes.
is love, Krishna. Oh my God, cases and cases and cases. We followed like 5 of his concerts. We were sneaking in. It was totally illegal, but I don't know. Krishna was covering, but yeah, that was amazing, amazing. See, like that's the kind of a thing that where Prabhupada, Lord Chaitanya, Krishna, there was something happening on the planet when Prabhupada was here. Of course, he's still here, of course. Otherwise,
Yeah.
why are we here? But it's a little different because when the pure devotee comes from Goloka Vrindavan and manifest his pastimes as Prabhupada did, what to speak of that last final lesson, giving us the Brahma Mohan Leela as he's leaving the world.
Hmm.
So we decided to give our life to that person. And
Yeah.
so this bond of love is very beautiful because we still have that bond with each other and with Prabhupada.
Yes. So do you still read the Krishna book?
Yeah, so every Sunday you're all invited at 4:30 to 5:30. It's live, You can come into Prophet's house there, right?
Oh,
Sit right
wow.
in front of him. We have a mic. It's out loud on this Vrindavan Facebook page. And now I
Okay.
got subtitles.
Oh,
Everything
that's
takes so
great.
long here. But what's nice is that I've trained up the cameraman to show people Prabhupada's room. I mean, not everybody gets to come to Vrindavan and see the sacred room that Prabhupada left in. It's a very amazing house, Prabhupada's house. And now they've renovated his garden where you used to
Oh,
hear Krishna book.
oh,
So
wow.
we feel
Okay.
that Prabhupada really, actually, somebody told, Truta Kirti said that when Prabhupada would hear that Krishna killed the demons, he would hit his hand on his leg, oh, and he would laugh. And he really loved it when Krishna would kill the demons. And
Yeah. So you got to hear him
of course,
say those stories. That's great. That's so cool.
really
Well,
nice.
the link to your Facebook page is on the screen, so I hope that everyone can tune in. I'm going to try and tune in sometime to hear the Krishna book being read. I think that's what that was.
Okay.
That's so incredible. Um,
It's our fourth time around. We started this 5 years ago in Prabhupada's old library, where
oh
Parvati,
wow.
here, God sister, used to manage the Bhagavad Gita classes here. Yeah, we started 5 years ago, but now it takes about a year. So we've gone 4 times around Krishna book,
Oh,
and it
wow. That's
never, like
amazing.
Prabhupada said, ever fresh. You
Yeah.
know, you heard kind of the story, but the details of how Prabhupada describes Vrindavan and Krishna, you can't have those descriptions unless you're seeing. So
Yes. Yeah.
Prabhupada said himself, he never was there a time when he didn't see Krishna. We
Yeah.
were talking about that in regards to the artistry, the pictures in Krishna book. The
Hmm.
artists themselves, who are all basically Americans, they wouldn't know how to paint Agasur or Princess Rukmini or Mother
Yeah.
Yashoda. Prabhupada had to give them some kind of instruction. He's
Yes.
like
Yeah.
an original artist also.
Yeah. There's so many different aspects about how what Srila Prabhupada did to empower all of the you original disciples. It's so amazing. We have the art, we have all the book distribution, the beautiful temples. It's so great. But I'm
Cooking,
yes,
prasadam.
cooking, of course,
Uh,
prasadam. I'm just curious if you did have any scrapes with the law. Like, did you ever
yeah, a
have?
couple. Remember, we were talking about how we used to go to jail for Vietnam. We were protesting Vietnam because
Yeah.
we were sending our 17-year-old college mates to Vietnam. They were coming back with no arms, no legs, and okay, thanks a lot. And we were like horrified. And then the government came in and shot some students, and then that was like when Woodstock happened. We went to Woodstock, and see, Lord Chaitanya Prabhupada, they knew exactly when Prabhupada should come. It was time. Krishna says, time I am. It was the perfect timing for Prabhupada to come because we were also like not trusting the government, teachers. And then Prabhupada comes along and he's actually walking the truth. Whatever he's speaking, he's doing. So we were very much, and then the way Prabhupada speaks. I mean, every day I have to hear at least 2 classes Prabhupada. He's always referring to Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, mostly. So
Yeah.
that's a really nice way to learn about Krishna is hearing Srila Prabhupada speak about Krishna.
Yes. Yes. Thank you for saying that for sure.
I
So
kind
that was that early part of your life with book distribution, but then things changed a little bit in your life. So what was kind of your next phase after the book distribution? Where did you
of,
land next?
well, my mother had had severe medical issues with
Hmm.
alcoholism, drug addiction. That's how I kind of grew up. And a lot of devotees, actually, Prabhupada disciples came from kind of the 50s where they were raised in military families and
Hmm.
military fathers who would kind of, use the stick as well as show it. So we came from those kind of families. So I was always very protective towards my mother. And
Hmm.
so yeah, just trying to, help her out a little bit. And then she became kind of an invalid. So then I became her legal guardian. My father got electrocuted at NASA. That was a big deal. He was a big
Wow.
deal. And so then I moved her to New Dwarka, where she lived there for a while. And then I kind of became her caregiver, guardian, companion. And then she
Uh,
gave up the vodka for the cauliflower picoris. So that's really nice.
yeah.
Prabhupada
Oh, that's very nice.
says that. Yeah, he says if the cauliflower picoris, the savory is cooked really nicely in ghee, and you have those big cauliflowers, not the little small ones where you go into one there's no cauliflower in there, but you know what I mean, that kind. So,
Yeah.
but you bite into one in the same, and it's been offered, of course. It's
Hmm.
prasad. So, like at the Sunday feast, when we would invite people at Los Angeles, it was amazing to see people like, oh my God, what is this? you know, and it's true. Prophet said that the taste of the savory, crunchy from the ghee, cooking it
Uh-huh.
nicely, would take away the inclination towards alcohol and meat.
Oh,
And
wow. Yeah.
my mother's a living example of that. She,
Wow.
she didn't become a devotee, but her habits changed being around the devotees.
That's
This is
amazing.
Prabhupada's mercy. Yeah, Prabhupada, his mercy just like
Yeah.
is
Touches all
never.
of us. Yeah.
Hmm.
So while you were in New Dwarka taking care of your mom, what was your service there? What did you do at the temple?
I had two small children at that time. My husband
Okay.
had. There was kind of an epidemic in New Dwarka. All the godbrothers, husbands, fathers, they were leaving us for, I guess, a younger brand or something. I don't know.
Oh,
It was like a lot of single mothers seemed to be trying to cope with that. And
yes.
again, not wanting to leave Prabhupada just because this happened, that happened, but figure it out. So at that
Mm-hmm.
time, Krishna arranged for the government to be giving special coupons, different things like that for single mothers. And it was
Uh-huh.
just happening kind of like during this window. So a lot of us felt like, wow, that's Krishna's arrangement.
Mm-hmm.
that, you know,
Yeah.
yeah. So then Pujari, 5 years, Gurukula teacher, 5 years. And our children were always a part of whatever we were doing. Lots of dramas. Every
Yes.
Sunday
Yes.
feast, we had dramas. And my kids are 46 and 42 now. They still remember when they played Prahlad and when they were in the
Oh, that's
Shrine
so
days and
amazing.
when they were Sita. I mean, Gora was like 4 years old and she was Sita in the Ashok Grove. And I have pictures of all of that.
Oh,
So
so
yes, our second generation also was very challenged in many ways
yeah.
that are kind of like the women, but at the same time we have to make a choice. We know it's not Prabhupada's process is perfect, and if we accept what Prabhupada gives us in the form of mercy, the holy name,
Yeah.
devotional association is so important. That's
Mm-hmm.
why it's such an honor to be able to know that these ladies who gave their lives, they're still giving their lives to
Yeah.
Prabhupada. That's
So it's
so
incredible. Yeah. So
wonderful.
those years in New Dwarka, how were you feeling? Like where was your mind and heart? How were you feeling? What was the experience like for you?
So
Was it
I guess what happened is that once a Sankirtan devotee always, so then there was a need for money. The BBT needed money to continue publishing, printing. And so I devised this idea of bake sales. That if there was like 30 department stores, 30 like stores, I don't know what you would say in India, maybe like a Fresh Mart or something. So then I would go and talk to each of the managers and say, we're doing a bake sale. We'll give
oh,
like
wow.
5% to United Way, which was a big deal. And then they
Mhm.
get five, we get 95. And the girls always look so nice and
Yeah.
the goods, everybody would say, I've had oatmeal raisin before, but there's just something about these cookies. And every day, Rukmini and Dwarakadish would get a huge pile of cookies. Watsika Avenue smelled like a bakery. All of Los Angeles was inundated for 5 years with
With
cookies.
cookies.
And the profit on, water, powdered milk, flour, there was peanut butter, PBs, CCs, and ORs. PBs, peanut butter, CCs, carob chip, and ORs, oatmeal raisin. And devotees are so clever. They would figure out the deal of the day, buy a dozen and get four free. And when
Oh,
you're,
wow.
it was during Christmas and Thanksgiving season, so everybody's, and then they
My
really
goodness.
got it where we provided really nice, beautiful plates, cardboard plates that they could take
Yeah.
home to their families. But it was really, yeah, it was really exciting times.
So you
Everybody
started a whole business, a whole cookie business.
Well,
Right.
yeah, I guess, yeah, business. But the thing is, everybody at that time were volunteers.
Yes.
So that was
Yes.
another part of the era that all of us had tried to adjust to. That, no one was getting paid for doing devotional service. So it kind of
Yeah.
was a different kind of mood. Like you didn't have to, but you were doing it for
Right.
Prabhupada.
Because were you living at the temple? Were you living in
Yes.
the
So
temple?
of course
So
it was simpler times, but we had to
yes.
figure it out. Wasn't like Prophet said he didn't want the temples taking care of grihastas. Remember, he made that clear. Temples have to take care of the lords, the people, cleaners, ingredients for prasad, like
Yeah.
that. But then as far as grihastas, we had, so as I was saying before, all of us single mothers, we just had to figure it out so that we could, live simple, have our kids engaged in the temple activities and make some money.
Yeah. Right. And you
That
figured it
had,
out. Yeah. That's
yeah,
incredible.
and you do. That's the thing about all these beautiful women who I'm thinking of their names, but we don't need to say. I'm just saying
Yes.
the 20 that I know from New Vrindavan. There's a famous picture. We're all like 20, 21. There's 16 of us in front of I think it's the Palace of Gold in New Vrindavan.
Oh,
I saw
wow.
that picture. I was telling you could find it. Maybe
Yeah,
you
I
can.
haven't. We'll try to
Look
find
it
it.
up. Nirmala probably has a copy of it. But anyway, we're only
Okay.
like 21. And we're
Wow.
standing there,
That's incredible.
two rows of us, like Sankirtan soldiers we were. Yes,
Yes.
times
Yeah.
were simpler then. Now
Yes.
people have families, they have expenses, and Krishna knows that. As
Yeah.
long as the need for money doesn't become too, like need turns to greed, as they say even in the outside world.
Yes. So true. So, so that beautiful, it sounds like a beautiful time in New Dwarka, but then where did you go from there? Continue with us the story of your
So
life.
then my mother, she was starting to decline and decline, and I was remembering that she suffered a lot at the hands of my
Mhm.
father. And so when he kind of got electrocuted and he was buried at Arlington National Cemetery, it was a big deal.
Wow.
In my heart, I was like, "Oh God, I'm so happy! Woohoo!" I mean, I'm sorry, but
But
honor thy
yeah,
father, okay. But when you live with a demon and he's not, even like close to Hiranyakashipu or like he's not
yeah,
here for a spiritual reason. So
yes,
I feel like people like him, when they're removed out of this planet, they're saving other people. So yeah, so I was happy to take on my mother, and as her health started to decline, I was out begging Christian Balaram, please let me bring her to Vrindavan, so that she could leave her body in Vrindavan because she suffered
wow.
so much, and she had that big turnaround. She didn't think I knew that the pizza guy was bringing her the vodka, but opened up the closet one day and
Oh,
and
wow. Yeah.
but she gave all that up, not because, oh, I'm going to give it up, I'm going to give it up. The prophet said she experienced the higher taste. She didn't want that after being around the devotees and going to Bhagavatam class like a couple of times a week. It was interesting. that a person who you'd never think looking at her that she would have some kind of an internal connection with Prabhupada and Krishna. So Krishna fulfilled my desire. We sold the house. My eldest daughter, we got on the plane. She got pneumonia in New York. We arrived in Vrindavan in Kartik 2000. That was even after 9/11. And in 13 days during Kartik, she left her body. Very
Oh, she was
peaceful.
only there 13
No,
days.
with me and my elder daughter, Chaitanya
Yeah.
Nitai. Um, so
Uh,
we brought her to Vrindavan. I had set it up all before. You know,
yes.
I had
Yes.
petitioned the court. I was her legal guardian, so I had to
Wow.
petition the court. I'm bringing her to this beautiful place called Vrindavan and the
Mhm.
MVP and all the different facilities. But she left her body right in my arms, Prabhupada chanting Hare Krishna.
Oh,
So who
wow.
knows? The mercy of Prabhupada is it's ever reaching, you know.
Yes. Yes. That's amazing for your mother. So did you stay in Vrindavan after she left
But
her
then yeah,
body?
I just stayed. and
Oh, so
and you
you're
know,
still there from that time? You've been there all this
yeah,
time?
yeah, even my godbrother, one godbrother from Bombay, it was all my godbrothers carrying her coffin. It was actually quite amazing
Wow.
to see this alcoholic drug addict, people over their hands, because they knew that ISKCON devotees are, were nice devotees. So all the Brijabasis, she was getting like all their pranams and prayers as she goes towards the Jamuna. And we had all the Gurukulas. They were singing these amazing bhajans. The moon was coming over Jamuna,
Oh, wow.
Baba's house. I mean, it was just like Prabhupada, Krishna gave. You just don't know who people are. You don't
Yes.
know what journey they've been on from maybe previous life. And that's
Yeah.
what, and then there's Prabhupada's books coming alive at a cremation. I've been to help several devotees leave their body here, and the legal work, and we take them to the Jamun, and it's really Prabhupada's Bhagavatam, just 3D,
So she was cremated on the Yamuna.
right
Your
on the
mother was.
Jamuna. Of
Oh,
course, it's a
wow.
lot different now. That was 25 something years ago.
Right.
So
So you're still
now
doing that
it's,
work today. You're still doing
yeah,
that work today.
that's really
That's,
I don't, to me, it's an honor. Anytime you
yeah.
get to that part of the life, to me, is very sacred for other devotees. Yeah, we probably helped at least 15 different devotees leave, get their living wills. I do living wills as part of my service. For
Hmm.
foreigner bodies, you have to appeal to the government if your
Right.
body can be cremated at Jamuna. For Indian bodies, they can go right away. But we've developed a nice relationship with the police, the FRO, and the government people. Because we developed this document, we get it notarized, and of course they like that we're
Right.
cooperating with the laws of the country.
Right. So you doing that allows devotees to come to Vrindavan to leave their bodies and then they get cremated on the
Yes,
Jamuna. It's a
right.
beautiful service. What a beautiful
Oh,
service.
it's
Yeah.
been maybe 4 years or so. The
Right.
lawyer, he keeps the money because I don't want to accept money for that. But it's
No.
funny. But one time I said, "Oh, I'm going to take 100 out of this today because I printed a whole bunch of things." He goes, "What?" After 53 people, I had 63. I think we've done at least 63 living wills. He was like bringing in the money, but when it came time to give something to me for doing all the work, he was like, "No, I don't."
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
It's a
But
different world in India. Everybody,
it
you have
must
to
be.
really like. We have these prayers that we chant, Chorastikam, and it's all about. Have you ever heard these prayers? I'll send them to you on WhatsApp. So every
Okay.
night we chant Chorastikam. Krishna, he's a chore. He's a thief. Chor means
Yes.
thief. So he's stealing our hearts. He's stealing this. He's stealing our. He's making us go crazy. But then in the end, the devotee steals him, right? Devotee
Yes.
steals Krishna and imprisons him. The way that Bilva Mangala Thakur, it's so beautiful, the poetry. and then the devotee seals Krishna into their hearts. Very beautiful. I'll send it to you. So every
Okay.
night they chant the Chaurastikam, Jagannathastikam, and chapter 15 of Bhagavad Gita right
Oh,
here in
wow.
the Krishna hall. Yeah,
And we'll
we have
try
a
to
nice
share it. We'll
stage
share it.
here.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, okay.
amazing. We'll share it
It's
with
live
everyone.
it's live every night from ISKCON Vrindavan Facebook page.
Okay, that's great. That's really great. Was there a time when you were here in Alachua? I'm here in Alachua, so I'm just wondering, did you live here for a while
We lived in High Springs.
in High
That's
Springs?
when
Yep.
yeah, that's when I had to do a lot of working to pay the bills and
Mm.
also trying to figure out what to do for my mother. So, and praying to Krishna, and the girls were in grade school, so
Oh,
I didn't want to move them around too much either. They were going off, one of them was going to college, the other one was doing something else. Um, yeah, it was really tough. But then Krishna worked it all out where
yeah,
everybody I met, somehow or another, I was able to engage in some kind of awareness about
yeah.
Krishna. Yeah.
When you were
So,
here, were you a teacher? Did you teach in the Gurukula here?
yeah, that was wonderful. That's
Oh,
where
that's
you
so
really
great.
learn that these devotee children, they're not ordinary, like Prophet says. You know,
Yeah.
and now we just had these Krishna camps. These young girls are so amazing. They organize 100 devotee children, youth from age 5 to 18, and they take them to the holy places. They learn mantras, kirtan, prasadam, and it's really fun for them. And so
Yeah.
when children are that young and they have that fun foundation, it's wonderful to remember. Yeah.
Yeah, so many different parts of your life with so much different kinds of service. But thinking about all of it, where do you find that your mind settles on the most? What really what gives you a lot of joy, the greatest satisfaction in your service?
Hmm. Well, I feel Prophet's presence very much on his
Yeah.
Vyasa, in his Samadhi, in his house especially, on the altar. The uh, the Murti of Srila Prabhupada on the altar, he established that, as you know, when he was
Yeah.
still alive. It was kind of unheard of. He wanted to teach us how to worship him properly while he was still on the planet. So for me, kind of like in so-called my elderly year, 73, it's nice to be in a place where I feel very uh, protected by Prabhupada's presence. And
Oh,
so
that's
then
great.
and then so then you can share that with other people, like with the
Yes.
cultural programs. We always have Prabhupada right there. He has a front row seat, and we always dedicate all for 17 years now. We've been dedicating all of our Ram Navami and Radhastami, Janmashtami, Vyasa Puja, Gaura Purnima, Nityananda. You know, we offer these programs for Prabhupada's pleasure because he really enjoyed the dramas, and I think
Yeah.
it's important that devotees engage in the dramas. Would Prabhupada say too much philosophy makes the heart dry, but when you engage
Yes.
in arts, then there's an opportunity for a different kind of lighthearted emotions.
Yeah, so you feel so connected to Srila Prabhupada still. It's so great. Your relationship is stronger than ever. When you look at your life, what lessons have you learned from your life that you hope younger devotees and the younger generation can learn from, and how you can inspire them to keep on with the mission?
Yeah, nice question because and everyone's noticing it. Some a little bit about the bring back the traditional courtesy that we
Yeah.
extend to one another, and that specifically Lord Chaitanya came to cut the Smarta Brahmana, the hierarchy of I'm born in Brahmin family, and then the cleaner, he's way down there. Whereas,
Yes.
for us, the cleaners are, without the cleaners, you don't have a very clean temple or whatever.
Right.
So, and then Prabhupada came along and really, he saw all of us equally so many times. My boys and girls are always spiritually equal, but you know what your dharma is by whatever body that you're in. But he never minimized. He never spoke down. And sometimes I hear that people being spoken down to or finding fault. We need more encouragement.
Yeah.
I try to encourage, and then, like, we look for the good and let Krishna take care of what's not so good.
Oh,
You
that's
know.
great. That's wonderful. To look for the
Like,
good.
well,
Yes.
when I talk to my boys, I have Christian Balaram. I said, "You see everything that's not so good, so please do something about it."
That's so great. That's great
Um,
advice. See the good.
so we
Thinking of,
invite everyone to come to Vrindavan and participate in the cultural programs and to inspire the youth. There's so
yeah.
many ways that we can inspire them. One of them is just listening. I have a lot of devotees who come into my office here and just to listen, and it doesn't mean hours and hours. We're all busy, but we can
Yeah.
all take like 5, 7 minutes and at least maybe find a way to validate a person, give some water. Like we have a thing here, we always give water to someone when they prophet said, what's that? That you give water to even your enemy if he comes to the
Yeah.
door. I hope we don't have enemies. But it's a nice tradition. I like
Service.
traditional things. Like when
Yeah.
it comes around courtesy, because respect to all, that's a big part of Lord Chaitanya is the last part of Trinadapi. And it's not
Hmm.
so easy because our tendency is, oh, I'll respect him. He just gave a bunch of money and he's got a
Yeah.
sign on his door. But then I'm not going to respect the Mataji who's, making the garlands every single day for 10 years. These
Yeah.
ladies who make garlands, oh my God, they're like heavenly damsels. It's
Hmm.
not to sit for 2 hours. You have to, each Lord has a certain size. It's a amazing service that they do. But
Yeah.
to have a consciousness that, my service, and then so
Yeah.
sometimes I see that kind of like, and then I always ask Prabhupada to help me to deal with that.
Yeah. Um, when you looking into the future, what do you want all of the future generations of this movement to kind of remember about how it started and about your service? So, what do you hope you can leave with future generations about that time when Srila Prabhupada was on the planet?
Yeah, I was just getting remembering something. Um, well, one time we were with Prabhupada. I just remembering this time because that would make 4 times, but we were way in the back, the new Vrindavan Sankirtan devotees. Prabhupada was in Atlanta, Georgia,
Mm,
1975. There's a very famous where Prabhupada chokes up when he talks about the mercy of Gornitai. And there's such beautiful Gornitai there at the Atlanta temple. So there was all the men book distributors. They were in the front, and all the ladies were in the back. And one of the men, uh, thought that he would get Prabhupada to answer a question a certain way that he thought. So he said to Prabhupada, "Oh, Prabhupada, what's your most favorite service?" And he was thinking he's going to say book distribution because it's all book distributors. And then he would be, "Oh, I'm a book distributor." And Prabhupada said, "The best service is to love Krishna." That's very
oh,
famous. Said it because everyone can love Krishna. That's what
mhm,
Prabhupada came to do. That's why we were so attracted to
yeah,
Prabhupada because everybody, even the famous story, guy brought the toilet tissue roll. Oh, he has begun his service.
Oh,
Prophet
yes.
saw every single person is part of the Lord's mission. So if everyone's part of the Lord's mission, there is no higher or lower. He's got the sign on the door. He's got a big bank balance. Or we're all just, we know our part is Das and Dasi. That's what he
Yeah.
said. Prophet said that's the most important part of our name was the Das and the Dasi, so we didn't forget.
That we were servants. Yeah, servants of.
Yeah.
So that's
Who wants
that's
to
it.
be? Is a very famous. You should look it up. I could send you the file actually. Of there's over 200 classes Prabhupada gave in Vrindavan. The
Uh-huh.
28 Nectar of Devotion by Rupa Goswami Samadhi. Amazing. You can hear the monkeys and the birds in the background. I can send it to you. So Prabhupada talks about that. That suppose you suppose you had a friend who could solve all your problems. So then you're thinking, oh, you have a best friend, but then there's some problems he cannot solve. But suppose if you had a friend who could solve all of your problems. And he says, and you have this person, Krishna. And the way Prabhupada knew how to tell stories, we were all mesmerized by that.
Yeah.
Still, the way that Prabhupada talks about Krishna is very unique. And these
Yes.
words in Krishna book, what we're doing, we have a project going. We're picking out all of Prabhupada's unique English. So there's one word that we just learned last, swarthy. You ever heard of swarthy?
No.
SW. That's your homework. You have to look it up.
Okay.
S Swarthy. Because Prabhupada, he was
Sporty.
educated with the Queen's English, so to speak. And his English is so beautiful, the way
Yeah.
he uses it in Krishna book. And it's the description of Swarthy in relationship to Krishna, you'll see.
Yeah.
Wow,
Okay.
Prabhupada.
That's
So we're
beautiful.
compiling
Yeah.
all these words to make a little book. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's really interesting. That sounds amazing. That is one of the things that I think I'm so grateful for is that all while Srila Prabhupada was here, there's recordings, there's video, everything was captured for us so that we can hear Srila Prabhupada, we can see and all of the memories. So,
Um,
I'm so grateful for that.
appreciation.
Yeah. So all of us
Definitely.
can,
Me too.
yeah, we can
When
find
that's
the
what I was saying, that these girls on the
Oh, I was going to say we can find all of the lectures of Srila
there's
Prabhupada. We can see the videos, and today with
go ahead.
technology, so that's very beautiful. I hope we all do that. Yeah. So, what were you going to say,
There's one
Mahadevi?
video um, that I think there's one video I thought that you might like. It's a rare. You look it up on YouTube, and you can see the deities are Vrindavan deities with the net around their eyes. So it's
Oh,
called the installation ceremony of the Prabhupada's Vrindavan temple. And there's some
okay.
beautiful stories that original artists who you see their form, they're standing there with no clothes, and they're so beautiful. And Prabhupada, he posed for Jamuna with her Radharani's hand is like this. Our Radharani. Our
Yes.
Radharani, the most, yeah, so Prabhupada, he posed his hand like that. So it's so
Oh, okay.
nice when you see Prabhupada in the early days and see him walking, talking, even for me,
Yeah.
because three times in what 7 years or so is
Yeah.
so
Yeah. So,
I was looking over my notes, and you were asking me the inspiration and the Bhagavad Gita, my favorite verse 630. And we talked about this the other day. 630, for one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I am never lost. I am never lost, nor is he or she ever lost to me. So verses like that really carried us through the old days, for all of us
Yeah.
traveling Sankirtan parties. It really,
Mhm.
we somehow or another gave us an understanding that you believe this or you don't believe this. So we
Yeah.
really wanted to believe that Krishna, you're here. We're never lost to you, Prabhupada. We're never lost to you. And now we're getting kind of the reward. Can't put it into words, but that faith. Now I get to live and serve in Vrindavan. So that's
It's so
nice.
beautiful. Do you stay connected with the ladies that you were on book distribution with?
A little bit. Not so much because my life here is just so so many people. Just to do one production, I'm interacting with maybe 60, 70 people. And then
Yeah.
we have all these projects in between. So I stay pretty
You're
busy. And
busy.
then my health, health is a big thing in Vrindavan.
Yeah.
And maintenance of your home, as you know. But the thing we like to encourage devotees is to read. Try to at least spend a half an hour reading. Pick one book, and even during Purushottam Mass, like for me, I always go back to Nectar Devotion and Krishna book
Oh,
and Bhagavad Gita. Reading Bhagavad Gita, Krishna. We have this little game that we play. Is there a Bhagavad Gita here? Oh, there's one there. Every day, people come in and then I say to them, "Oh, you want to know what Krishna has to say to you? You just take the Bhagavad Gita, and then you can say, okay, Krishna, please guide me. Please tell me something. You already know everything. So, and then you open it up and see my verse was, of these who is in full knowledge and who is always engaged in pure devotional service is the best. For I am very dear to him, and he is dear to me. Oh, what a beautiful verse. So that's
wow.
7:17.
Mm,
Krishna's dear. There were
that's
600 Bhagavad Gitas out, as you know, the history, when Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, not one of them, as Prabhupada says, made it a devotee of Krishna. And then Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita came out, and now there's millions and zillions. Isn't
yes. Yeah. That's so incredible. I'm going to remember
it?
doing that. Just asking for the advice of the day or what Krishna has to say to me and open the Bhagavad Gita and do that. That's so great.
And it's personal. It's personal.
Yes.
And the more that you have that relationship with the Bhagavad Gita or any of Prabhupada's books, Prabhupada said that he lives in his books. So
Yes.
even if we just read a little bit every day, I mean, there's no one too busy to, let's say, 2 minutes. So I always
Yeah.
have, at least I do this. If we're in the middle of some program or whatever, but anyone can open up and there's this thing, Chad. Have you ever heard of that? Chapter a day. My good, dear godbrother Vaishashika. He made this program. You can look it up. It's called Chad, and you can read a chapter a day. But you
Oh,
can read
okay.
only the English. You can read English and Sanskrit, English, Sanskrit, and the purport. So there's so many devotees that give us ways how we can develop a taste for
Yes.
reading.
Yes. That's so great. That's so
Reading Krishna
amazing.
Prabhupada, I don't allow any devices. Everybody has to hold the book. They have to
Yes.
hold. It's a very big difference in holding Prabhupada's book and then
Yeah.
kind of going online. Mhm.
Yeah.
Just going to look over our
So,
notes, Tisha. Um, yeah, this verse 10:14:8. Because sometimes people ask us, well, why did you tolerate all that abuse? Why didn't you just leave? I would have left a long time ago. And
mhm.
it's interesting how we stayed
It
to
is.
do what we felt was our duty. Like no matter what, we were in that mode. And
Mm-hmm.
some people have called us like, "Well, you were stupid, or you're an idiot, and you asked for it, blah blah." And I'm like, "What?" But see, Prabhupada, Prabhupada, he made it so that we all understood. Like I said, when Prabhupada came, we all found our escape route. He made it. He made us all understand he was never going to leave us, no matter what. And
Yeah.
Krishna, never going to leave. And that kind of connection. Maybe something really bad has to happen so that you're really crying out, like how Prabhupada says, "There's no atheist in a foxhole." You heard Prabhupada say like
Yes.
that.
Yes.
People
Yeah.
use it in the outside. You know, the foxhole, the hole is right there on the front line. The
Mhm.
bombs are dropping. You have to have the twig over. So probably, so you're praying to somebody. Oh, take care of my family or my bank balance or my dog or whatever. So there's very few atheists in a foxhole. So when
Yeah.
you're in situations like abuse or, and that goes for women today, it's important they speak up, but at the same time develop a faith, an internal faith that Krishna's going to help me with this. So
Yeah.
there's two sides.
Yeah. Well, what I see a lot is the courage that, how you had to reach inside and have the courage to keep going. So I'm so grateful for that. I just can't imagine how that was. And so you had the strength. Krishna is the ability in man. And so you had the ability to keep going. Yeah. So
That's one
thank
of
you
my
for that.
favorite lines.
Mine
I
too.
love I
Yeah.
love that. I'm always telling Krishna, you're the ability in man, so you can give me the ability to love you.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're right about at an hour. So I would love if you would take the Bhagavad Gita and just for all of us listening to the interview and all of us going forward in Krishna consciousness, maybe you can pick a verse for us.
Oh, well, we just read that one, but what are, you have a Bhagavad Gita next to you? You
I
do it.
do. I do.
Ah.
Okay. Just a verse for all of us. Let's see what we get. Oh, I got a long purport. Okay, I got chapter 12. It's text
Okay,
1. Arjuna
12:1.
inquired. Yeah.
Devotional service. 12:1.
Yes, yes. Which are considered to be more perfect? Those who are always
Let me
properly
let me
engaged.
I'll repeat it after you. Say again.
Okay.
Which?
Um, it's the first verse. Arjuna inquired.
Arjuna inquired.
Which are considered to be more perfect?
Which are considered to be more perfect?
Those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service,
Those who are
or
properly engaged in your devotional service, or
those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested.
those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
it is. But the best part is that the next verse, Krishna definitely says, those who fix their minds on my personal form are always engaged in worshiping me with great transcendental faith, are considered by me to be most perfect. And Mahadevi, that's exactly what you did your whole life. You
Oh.
fixed your mind on Krishna. So thank you for your
Well,
example.
as we started out, that's what I see in all these beautiful ladies who living in the vans together. They're a specific
Yeah.
brand of Vaishnavi to me, and everywhere, all over. But mothers in general, mothers and women are very empowered souls for
Yes.
Prabhupada to press on this mission. We have
Mhm.
a Shakti, and we can
Yeah.
speak up, but at the same time not be attached to the result. So that's a biggie.
Yes.
Oh, it's
That's
Sean.
important.
I told you to go my way. Krishna, I
Yeah.
told you how to do it. I mean, come on.
Oh,
He's got
yeah.
his own plan. So, yes, fix their minds on my personal form, engaged in worshiping me with great intent. So beautiful.
Yeah.
Krishna
Very beautiful.
Krishna's such a poet, and he
Mhm.
knows it.
Yes. Yes. But
So
so
it's been
I
a real joy to.
yes, it's
I was
been
a little
great.
nervous I was a
Me
little
too, but
nervous, but
you were amazing. You're amazing. So thank you
oh,
so
okay. Got a little
much.
fever going on there. Take your fever medication. So, uh, just one, for all Vaishnavis. Vaishnavis are very special devotees, and and especially these Vaishnavis. My eyes are tearing up a little bit, but these Vaishnavis who really sacrifice their lives on the line. I mean,
Yeah.
we had the old, just like in my hit song, you you heard my hit song, my offering that we made into a
Yeah, we're
song.
gonna try and share that with everyone, your song.
Okay, so in that song, it's how
Excuse me.
the old farmer. Our van was parked on his field, and he put the shotgun in our window. You better get the hell off my land, or I'm gonna blow you away. And we're like, rewind and namaste, namaste, and then rip down the road
Mhm.
half a mile down off our obeisances to Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhupada, for saving us. I had a man
Yes.
put a cigarette out of my hand one time.
Oh my gosh.
So we really, and because in America, nobody liked Krishna. So for us to
Yeah.
try to give books about Krishna, it's not like in India where everybody loves Krishna in one way or another. But in
Yes.
America, it was like you had to help that person feel something, even if it was just being friendly and give a donation because you can help somebody else.
Yes.
But
Yes.
Prabhupada's book, once Prabhupada said, once they touch my book, their life has changed, and we were so into that.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's so thank you so much. This has been wonderful, and I hope it lives for a long time and people will come to the Facebook page and watch you read the Krishna book and see all the
Oh,
glories in Vrindavan. So thank you so much, Mahadevi.
Hare Krishna, and thanks for
Hare Krishna.
inviting me to share the glories
Yes.
of Srila Prabhupada. Hari
Yes.
Bol.
Haribol.
So now what? How do you do it? You get on. Hari Bol. One thing we didn't mention in our previous interview, which was one of the most important points of glorifying these new Vrindavan traveling Sankirtan Vaishnavis, and the ones on the West Coast and the ones in Canada and the South. And as I mentioned before, there was about maybe 60 of us all together, very specific Vaishnavis living in vans and sneaking showers in hotels and dormitories and going to jail several times and starting their year time in the jails. So when all of the abuse was starting to happen, we kind of, we had a bond of love somewhat with each other, but more with depending more and more on our sadhana to help us to deal with it. So that's what I wanted to offer my head at the feet of all these Vaishnavis. That years later, trauma, repetitive trauma, it gets in the nervous system, becomes sometimes a medical issue. And I applaud the bravery and the courage that many of these Vaishnavis it took to seek out help and go deeper into chanting and to hearing Prabhupada and taking some time out. Many of us got seriously wounded, and it took a lot of years of internal reflection and what is the purpose and why am I here and why am I still trying to serve Prabhupada's mission. And so all of that therapy and help for the breakdowns many of us were having due to that abuse, we found that Prabhupada was the one who brought us back. Krishna was bringing us back to what I mean back is that when you feel broken, then you have to kind of put your heart and your consciousness back together. That takes a lot of courage and bravery. And so, to reflect upon like this verse, 10:14:8. My dear Lord, or we can do the Sanskrit together. Tate nukam pam sushami kamano bunjana evatma kritam vipakam vidbhagvapur bir vadadam namaste jiveta yo mukti pada sadaya bhak. Daya bhak, our rightful claim to mercy, mercy because we persevered and we wanted to keep serving Prabhupada's mission, even if we felt broken. Like, Lord Chaitanya says, whether he embraces or leaves us brokenhearted. Lately, I've been telling, I need some more embraces. So that translation is so beautiful, and it really is. We see that after distributing Prabhupada's book so much, to take the time to actually reflect upon what we're reading. Are we reading? Are we hearing what Prabhupada has told us all along? Suffering in the material world. So we got to experience that. And we didn't have, like in India, everybody has a family to go to. We had no one because we had turned against our families to become a Hare Krishna. So not against our families, but making a independent choice. And they were all Christians, most of them, our parents. So yeah, we found out that it was Srila Prabhupada and Krishna and Prabhupada's books and Prabhupada's bhajans. No one sings like Prabhupada. If you're having like a heavy day or something, you just put Prabhupada's bhajans on, and it's medically balancing, medically calming. You try it sometime. All the time I have Prabhupada playing. So the translation of that verse, which sums up what all you mothers, all you Vaishnavis, what you did, the example that you set, that just like in the battlefield that we were talking about, there's no giving up. We have to keep going, but it's okay to feel a little broken along the way, a little lost, a little bewildered, like what? and then you regroup again, begging for the mercy, and then Krishna reveals himself, didn't he, through verses like, "My dear Lord, one who earnestly waits for you to bestow your causeless mercy upon her, all the while patiently suffering the reactions of her past misdeeds." Our past misdeeds, my past misdeeds, and offering you still respectful obeisances. We're still trying to offer respectful obeisances with our hearts, words, and body. We, all of us Vaishnavis, we are surely eligible for liberation. Prabhupada says means liberation from the control of our senses. For it has become her rightful claim. So you see, no matter what kind of suffering, who knows, past sinful misdeeds. I mean, the Bhagavatam doesn't mince words. And Prabhupada gave us as it is. So this is the part when we go through horrendous abuse, as we all did. But we, somehow or another, Krishna helped us to keep going. So I offer my head and my sincere gratitude to all of you Vaishnavis who served on the traveling Sankirtan parties, rolling along in the van, and never gave up, even though we all had to take a little, but then Prabhupada and Krishna, they saved us. Hare Krishna. All right, Paul. Just really wanted to give a shout out, flowers coming down to all the second generation devotees born into Prabhupada's ISKCON. Two of those great souls was my two daughters, Chaitanya Nitai, who's 46 now, an amazing kirtaniya. She was singing in the temple at like 4 years old. who is that? Prabhupada told us that they're not ordinary. And then younger daughter, Gauri Devi, she has a big dance company. She's a Kathak dancer. And all of these second generation devotees, although they too had to go through a lot of horrendous is the word if you look it up, horrendous experiences in becoming a devotee, becoming a Hare Krishna. So, but they have these amazing, godly talents of singing and dancing and doing dramas. And so, if we could all just take a moment and appreciate all of our second generation who are now producing these amazing third generation. So, when my body's burning at the Jamuna for cremation and all of us are gone, I want to leave this everlasting encouragement and so much support and love for all of our second generation, Prabhupada's second generation devotees all over the world, who all of you are now like probably in your 40s. I just heard one, one of the coolies turned 50. So, and what an amazing bond of love all of you have. Those friendships are eternal. And it's been such an honor to promote many of you in the arts here, engaging you in classical dance and dramas. Prabhupada is just sitting there and beaming his blessings on you. Hare Krishna.